Hi, welcome back to Best of Wisconsin Homes. I'm Josh with Josh Lavik and Associates, and we're doing our community spotlight here today. I'm with Adam Sodersten from the Clean Lakes Alliance. So welcome, Adam.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and a little bit more about the Clean Lakes Alliance?
Sure. So Clean Lakes Alliance, we're a nonprofit here in Greater Madison, and our goal is we are protecting the lakes in the Yahara River watershed. And so those 5 big lakes, of course, are Mendota, Monona, Wingra, Waubesa, and Kaganza.
Sure.
And so we kind of have a very simple community vision. We see a future in which the lakes are the center of the community. And so what that means is any decision, whether it's construction or infrastructure or roads or anything we do as a community, we want to think about what is the impact that it will have on our lakes.
Absolutely. I mean, we're here over at Old Brick Park, right in front of the beach, and we got kayaks right behind me. I mean, obviously the lakes are a huge part of our community. I mean, yeah, tell me more about that involvement.
So everybody, I think in the last year, especially as we've maybe stayed closer to home, everybody realized how important these large resources are. And they're important to our community, they're really important to tourism, and they're important as a recruiting tool. You know, we know a number of businesses in Greater Madison that know that when they're attracting talent from out of town, they want to make sure that they're presenting a great community. And so when somebody flies in from New York or San Francisco or Los Angeles, if they fly over Lake Monona, and the first thing they see is green water, that's not going to be great. And so it is a community investment to make sure that these lakes are the absolute cleanest and best they can be for our community and for anybody who may become a member of our community.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I've lived here most of my life, and certainly being on the lakes and around the lakes is a huge part of our involvement. So tell me more about, obviously your kind of role as an organization is to help keep the lakes clean as much as possible, and how do you guys do that, or what do you recommend to people?
One of the things that we really want to do is reduce phosphorus. So phosphorus is a nutrient that is in soil, it can be in manure, it's in leaves, and so when that phosphorus goes into the lakes, it fuels a cyanobacteria bloom or blue-green algae, and those are the things that close the beaches, close the lakes. You can't use it, it's toxic to people and pets, and so what we want to do is reduce the amount of phosphorus going into the lakes. And so the simple way to do that is hold back some of that runoff. And so whether that at home, is that a rain garden, a rain barrel, maybe just making sure your downspout doesn't go onto your driveway but goes onto your grass. And so things that you can do to hold that runoff water on the land. In the rural area, our farm partners are doing things like buffer strips between the stream and their fields, so it's catching that nutrient before it gets to the stream that runs into the river, that runs into the lake. And so as a community, that control of runoff is how we're going to help our lakes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's kind of a long-term project, right? A long-term game?
Change doesn't happen overnight for something like this. And we kind of look at it like recycling. Early on in the late 70s, early 80s, the idea of separating your glass and your aluminum seemed so odd. And now you would not commingle anything in your garbage. We just do it. And so that's kind of the thing that we're looking for people to do at home is these things, simple things like raking the street in front of your house, which sounds odd, but leaves contain that phosphorus. When the stormwater runs through it, it takes it with it, goes into the storm sewers all run to the lakes in Madison. So if we can kind of start to change, get people to rake the leaves out of the street, get them to control their runoff, as a whole, we're going to make a difference.
Absolutely. And we have been making a difference from what I understand, right? I mean, we've been tracking, I assume you have tracking mechanisms in place?
Yeah, every year we put out the State of the Lakes report, and it's shown we've made marked steps every year in reducing phosphorus, and that can be translated into, additional clear water days, but the work is not done. And so we had a plan that was drafted 10 years ago with a number of steps that we could do, but in that 10 years, we've had more intense rainstorms, costs of things have changed, and so right now we have the Yahara Clean Compact, which is bringing together businesses and government officials and us and other nonprofits, and what we're doing is we're re-looking at that roadmap, assessing 2021 prices and what we can do, and we hope to have published those results at the end of the year and then start to execute it the following year.
Man, you guys are doing all kinds of stuff and making a big impact.
And it really is a community effort, too. That's the thing. It's not just us. It's not just government. The Clean Lakes Alliance is truly an alliance.
Sure.
So our community board has nonprofit, has business, has government, from both sides of the aisle, and I think that's important too, is that here in Madison we've realized this is not a political issue, it's a quality of life issue, and everybody seems to be getting behind it.
Yeah, well, it's pretty easy to understand. I mean, they're a beautiful part of our community, and like watching, just sitting down on the beach and watching a sunset, late in the day is certainly an awesome thing.
Yeah, you don't want to have to go to the Union or here to the Old Brick Park Beer Garden and see green water or smell that decay from a cyanobacteria bloom, and I think people realize that they love, if they're not in the lakes, they love being by the lakes, and so the better they are, the better off our quality of life here is in Madison.
Yeah, 100%. Well, absolutely. Well, Adam, I really appreciate you coming on our show today and sharing a little more about the Clean Lakes Alliance. And Again, my name is Josh with Josh Lavik and Associates, doing our community spotlight, Best of Wisconsin Homes, and thanks again.
Thank you.